Hello, and welcome to the next episode of the Spirit and Soul podcast. I am your host, Tiffany Cohen, and today we are talking about a topic that is something that I hear all the time from so many people. And it was stuck in my head today, and I just had to create this episode around this topic. And it is the words, I should be grateful, but, okay. And then we fill in the blank. um, so I want to dive into this because again, this is something that I hear all the time from either like family members or from people in the community. And it's like, I know I should be grateful, but I feel like this. Okay. And I think it's important to almost validate for you today that it is okay to be grateful for certain things, but unhappy in your life in other places. And I especially think that this comes into play when it comes to our own families. So if you have, your own family, and this is something that like you maybe you catch yourself saying, or maybe you find yourself longing for certain things to change, but you feel bad, almost bad about saying those things. That is the topic of today's podcast. So let's get into this. And this is going to be very conversational. And I'm going to ask you some questions and maybe give you a little bit of homework too, in order for you to start to see where you're kind of getting yourself tripped up as well. So let's first start with the I should be grateful. Okay. Gratitude. The attitude of gratitude. Yes, gratitude is one of the most high vibration frequencies on the planet, in the entire universe. It is absolutely one of those energies that you really want to just tap into as much as you can throughout the day. I mean, I think I've even done podcast episodes on like walking gratitude prayers. Okay. And while we can be grateful for so many aspects of our lives, right? Maybe it's that we are healthy. Maybe it's that our children are healthy, or just for your like hot cup of coffee in the morning. I know that's something that I'm grateful for every day, is like when it's made perfect and just it warms you, right? So like this attitude of gratitude is something that you do want to lean into as much as possible. Okay. However, we have to be realistic too, and also understand that even though we can be grateful for our healthy family, or that we love our home life, let's say, that there are things in our lives that we wish that were different, or that we're manifesting. You can love your home, but manifest a bigger one. Be grateful for the fact that you have a home and a roof over your head. And I don't want you to downplay the things that you want in your life and say, well, I should just be grateful for what I have. Well, yeah, you should be grateful for what you have, but that doesn't mean that you don't get to want for other things, or that you're not manifesting something that would feel even better to you. So let's really try to start to look at the things and how we're talking about what we want out of life, or how we talk about our manifestations and our biggest and best version of life. Because all that we're doing when we say this, I should be grateful. I should just be grateful for what I have, right? All that we're doing is actually stopping our limitless potential. We're actually putting a cap on what is available to us when we say, I should just be grateful for this. Well, yeah, yes to that. You should not just be, you should be grateful for what you already have, because you probably had to do a lot of work in order to get there. And yeah, there are people that don't have what you have, but also that doesn't negate the fact that we can still reach for more, that we can still want a higher level, elevated version of our lives, and whatever that looks like to you. Okay. So yes, be grateful for what you have that, but also don't quell, don't put down the things that are in your heart that you want to feel, the things that are in your heart that you truly want out of life. When you do that, you're stopping your biggest and best potential. I talk about this a lot in classes, and I know I probably talked about it on the podcast. And that is because it's stuck with me so much. And that is Ed Milet. If you don't follow him, go and follow him. He's an motivational, inspirational speaker. And he tells this story of his belief of what happens when you die. And his belief is that when you get to the pearly gates, as he says, and you're basically met by your highest version of you, your highest self. And what his goal in this life now is that when he meets that highest and best version of him, that they are the same person. That his highest and best self is not like, oh, but you stopped yourself here. You didn't take this opportunity. You didn't heal this thing, right? And I think that there's so much beauty in this thought and in this vision of that your highest and best self meets you when you pass and says, hey, listen, you did everything and you are that same person. Or, you know what, you stopped yourself the whole way. You didn't heal yourself here. You didn't do the work here. You kept hanging on for too long, right? There's really, really something beautiful in that thought. And that's kind of that vision is really what keeps me going every day and keeps me striving every day. And even through some fears, because at the end of my life, I want to be met and be that same person as well. And if we continuously stop ourselves by saying, no, we're good right here. This right here, this is comfortable, this is good. And even though I know that I'm made for more, or even though I know that my heart is calling out for something else, or I'd be happier somewhere else, I'm just going to sit here in gratitude for what I do have. And I don't want you to do that. And I don't want gratitude to be this misled reason for why you stop going for what you want. That it's just like, well, I'm just going to be grateful for everything that I already have. And again, we have to have an understanding of duality here. We have to understand that we can hold space for two things that are maybe a little opposite, right? And I wouldn't say gratitude is opposite of striving for more, because it's absolutely not. But in gratitude, if you're sitting in gratitude so much that you're making it a comfort zone, or you're making it you're making your gratitude an excuse to be a comfort zone, if that makes sense. Okay. Then that's where the problem lies. So I want you to let yourself go. And I'm going to tell you a little story. When I was in corporate, and I just knew that this life was not for me, I was so happy at home. Like I had my kids and my husband, and he's the love of my life. And we had a beautiful home that we were able to afford because I had a beautiful salary where I worked. And I was so grateful for the money that I made and so grateful for all of those things and the love that I had at home. But every day I woke up not wanting to go to work. I woke up every day spending most of my day in a place that, while I did love the people there, that's what kept my heart going. I didn't like what I was really doing. I didn't love it. It didn't light me up. And most of the time, especially in a certain period of time when I worked there, I left crying a lot. So, and then when I got home, yeah, I loved all the things, but that didn't mean that gigantic portion of my day, I had to just be grateful. Just be grateful that you have a job. I was grateful that I had a job, and I was grateful that I had money and I was making a nice salary and I could support my family. But is that a quality of life? Is it? Is it a quality of life where you're dreading going into work every day and you're working for the weekends? Can't wait till Friday at 5. Like, that wasn't a life that I wanted. I wanted to wake up every day and feel excited about my day. And I know that most people don't do that. I know that most people get up every day and they are not excited about their day. That means that you need change somewhere. That means that you are keeping yourself stuck out of what? For what? What are you keeping yourself stuck in? Because you're grateful that you have a job, right? Like, because you can get a job, you can get a different job and something that maybe lights you up. But we keep ourselves stuck because we say, oh, well, I used to say all the time, well, there was some leniency here, or I can kind of come and go as I please. And that was sugarcoating it. Okay. That was really, I look back now and I was like, ooh, girl, you told yourself a story. And that's okay. That's what got me through. Okay. And that's fine. But I know that on the other end of this transmission here, of you listening to this, maybe in your car, maybe in your earbuds, while you're cleaning, maybe while you're going for a walk, that there are a lot of you that are unhappy with a part of your life. And you just sit in it because you're saying either I'm in my comfort zone or I should just be grateful for what I have. And that is not okay. All right. At some point, what will happen is that thing is going to almost explode like a volcano. And that is exactly what happened to me. One day, I just sat in my office after an altercation with my boss, and I just was crying and asking myself how I got there. But understand that that was a decade of the buildup of knowing that this was not for me and just sitting in a comfort zone. Okay. So when I finally exploded, hey, listen, everything had to go exactly as it did. And I know that I am so grateful for my time in corporate. When I tell you so grateful, I learned so many things, so much about myself, so many things about business in general. And I'm so grateful for the people that guided me along the way. Okay. And my friends that I still have. So I can be grateful, but also understand that I know that that job wasn't meant for me. Okay. That at some point I had to go and I had to do life by my own rules. And I had to make a life for myself that felt really good, that it was not acceptable to me to have a life that didn't feel good every single day. And so what did I do? I changed my life. I changed that life and I made a split second decision that altered the course of my life. And did it happen immediately? No, absolutely not. But every single decision that I made from that moment on was to support a life that I knew I wanted. And I was grateful for all the things, but I was grateful for all the things, but I knew that something bigger awaited me. And I didn't sit there. So what I'm telling you right now is this. Don't just sit stagnant. Don't sit because you should just be grateful for what you have. If you are being called to something else, you may have to work for it. You may have to put in that time, that effort. Honestly, all things that are worth it, they have some work to it. Okay. But in the end, right now, as much as I put towards spirit and soul, as much as I'm juggling and balancing all the things, every single day I wake up excited after 17 years of not. Okay. Like, this is an incredible experience and feat for me, but understand that it didn't just happen, right? I had to make decisions that supported this type of lifestyle, that I wouldn't settle. And a lot of times that's what we're doing. So I'm going to ask yourself right now, where are you settling in your life? Where are you settling because you're like, oh, no one really likes their jobs. no one really likes what they do, right? And are we going to just fall in line, fall in step with everybody because no one's actually happy? Or are you going to actually create a life for yourself that is filled with happiness all around and not just in one area of your life? Right? So I'm pushing you here. I'm pushing you here because I know that there's a spot in everyone's life, even in my own, that I know, even now, that I know that I have to work on this or I have to work on that. Okay? But work on it. Don't just say you're going to do it. Do it. Don't just say you wish that it was different, or I'm just grateful that I have this. Right? Don't just say those things. Start to make the changes to get the things that you want. I am telling you, it is not greedy. It is not selfish. It is not any of the things that we feel inside, the guilt that you might feel, or what society tells you is acceptable. Those things are not truly meant to create that life for you. You're meant to create the life that you want to see, not a life that's stagnant, not a life that doesn't light you up. And I'm telling you right now, I really want you to do this homework, this exercise where you are sitting down and you are writing out and being really, really honest with yourself. Like I told you just before, I was telling myself a story. I was singing a song that said, you're happy, you're happy, you're happy at work. Okay. When I knew that in my heart that I wasn't, and again, we put Band-Aids on things. I'm grateful and thankful that I had a beautiful support system there and I had great friends and I had a lot of laughs when I was there. But at the end of the day, my heart wasn't fulfilled, right? So again, we can be in duality. We can have both. We can have both feelings and that's okay. All right. But sit down and figure out and be very, very truthful with yourself about where in your life you're falling short in happiness. And allow yourself that time and space to be graceful with what comes up for you. And if it's the fact that maybe you're a stay-at-home mom and you're grateful for that opportunity because most people don't get that opportunity, or a lot of people don't get that opportunity. However, maybe being home all the time isn't really for you. Okay. And if that's the case, what can you do? How can you fix something and find that beautiful balance as much as possible? Okay. So be truthful. If it is your relationship that is suffering or that you don't feel is lighting you up, well, be truthful with yourself. Don't just sugarcoat it. Don't just put a Band-Aid over it. You deserve a love, a passionate love with a best friend. So if something is falling short, well, how can you work on that? I'm not saying get up and go, but what changed since you first met? Where are you not putting your attention? Maybe where the person needs it, or where are you not getting your attention? And maybe all that you need is just to speak up, right? But we just go through the motions and we go through life and we say, well, everybody's relationships suffer. Yeah, everybody's relationships go through ups and downs, but we want to hope for more ups than downs. And we want to hope for longer periods of ups and tiny periods of downs, right? So where are you the problem there? And what do you need are the questions I'm going to ask you. Okay. In all of life, we should always be asking ourselves, how am I the problem here? If there's something that we don't like. And if the answer is, I'm the problem because I don't speak up. I'm the problem because I don't set boundaries. I'm the problem because I keep going back. I'm the problem because I don't create space for myself. I'm the problem because I don't ask for help. I mean, is it all of the above for you? Is it a couple of them? Am I hitting the nail on the head here for you? Is it something else? What is it? Ask yourself these important questions. These are a lot of the questions that we go through when we do our moon circles. I always ask everybody to get really truthful with themselves, because especially a full moon circle is a time for releasing and letting go of what's not serving us. And if these things are the things that are not serving you, well, you have every capability of fixing them. There is always an answer and there's always a way. So I want you to truly allow yourself that time and space to have the duality of saying, yes, I am grateful for this in my life, but something feels off to me and I want to explore what that is. And I want to explore how I can make it better. And like I said earlier, it's going to be work. But why is that a bad thing? Why is working towards something, a bad thing? It's not. It's not at all. It's giving you a chance to create an incredible life for yourself. And you get one in this body, one life. And it is not worth it to sit around and at the end of your life, wish that you would have done things differently. And this is your chance now. I'm giving you that chance right in this moment to ask yourself the important questions so that at the end of your life, you don't have any regrets. So please don't use I should be grateful. I should just be grateful for what I have as the excuse to not go for your happiness, or as the excuse to feed into your fears or your limiting beliefs. Because when you fight for your limiting beliefs and you fight for your fears, you get to keep them. And I don't know about you, but that's not a life that I'm destined to live. And I know in my heart that that's not a life that you're destined to live. So start making those changes, start making those shifts today. And listen, this is what we do at Spirit and Soul. Truly, this is what we do. We help you to create your best life, to see what that is. And what is that? What comes with that? Well, that's going on your healing journey. That's understanding your connection to spirit and mostly connection to yourself, and how you can truly, through your gifts that you have, really tap into your soul and let your soul truly lead the way here. Okay. So we do this. How do we do this for you? With classes, virtual and in person, workshops, one-to-one readings, healings. I'm doing spinal energetics. I talk about it all the time because it's an incredible healing modality. We do this just by you walking through the door and just us asking, what's going on with you? How can I help you? And being a space where we will just listen. That's what we do. What do you need? That's what we're going to ask you. And we're asking you not to sell you products. Okay. That's not our style. Yeah. We have a ton of products. Yes, absolutely. But when we're asking you, what do you need or what's going on? We're truly asking you, what do you need? Because really everyone that's walking through our doors needs something, is looking for something. And that's why Spirit and Soul exists. That's why this podcast exists, to help you to create that best life. And we're doing it. I'm doing it every day a little bit more, every day a little bit more, and not falling back into the grind, not falling back into these ideals. And I want the same for you. So whatever we can do for you at Spirit and Soul, myself, the girls at the shop, any of our incredible teachers, we're all here to support and guide you. So what do you need? All right. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode of the Spirit and Soul podcast. I hope it lit a nice little fire under your butt. And I'll see you on the next episode. Thank you.